That's very hurtful, Zayami. Like, I'm gonna call the ETMA on you.
It's hate speech.
You can't call the ETMA on me. I don't know what that is.
Eat my nuts, sucker.
Ah!
Got him. Fucking roasted. Boom.
Absolutely destroyed.
Hello and welcome to the Refundables with Punch and
Pepe.
Very depressive intro.
Yeah.
And today with us we have Zayami, professional Frostpunk player extraordinaire, because today we'll be reviewing Frostpunk, which is what, Pepe?
Frostpunk is a white genocide survival game where you play the Anglos who have been removed from their country by the evil non-whites, and you go to the, what is it, like North Pole?
Yeah, the world gets cold, so everybody goes to the coldest part of the world for some reason.
Yeah,
I love the story all right from the start. It's like,
sense.
there's global cooling due to humans, so we're gonna go to the North Pole.
Yeah.
The story doesn't quite add up.
Yeah, it's set in like, what is it, like in late 19th century?
Yeah, I think it's like 1890-ish. It's steampunk.
It's basically city builder meets survival game, right?
Yeah, that's how I would describe it.
So you get sent to the coldest part of the earth to get away from the cold, and they're like, "Oh, here's a coal-powered generator because we didn't destroy the earth enough, and try and survive the winter." It's basically the premise of the game.
Yeah.
And from there, you got to manage your resources, build houses, all that other standard city builder stuff. Well, of course, there's a few mechanics thrown in based on the survival aspect, which is the cold, which is always marching up.
The cold isn't a really good mechanic. You're always fucked. You always think you have everything in control, and then suddenly you have nothing in control. It's like, oh.
Yeah, because basically you have like, a 5-day forecast, and indicators will appear telling you if the temperature will go up or down, and you have to prepare for that by like better insulation or have your generator create more heat, and you always get fucked. What I always get is like, the citizens will request that their homes are livable, and it'll be a 2-day challenge, and then on the first day the temperature will plummet and it'll fail the challenge and you'll lose like a shit ton of hope, which is also a core mechanic. Hope, and what is the other one?
Discontent.
Discontent, that's what it was, yeah.
Okay, it's hope and discontent. And what do?
Hope is sort of like a generic health bar, if anything. The more help you have, the better off your colony does. I think it gives you bonuses to certain things. And then your discontent affects how much like crime events happen, things like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you have a high discontent, depending which scenario, different bad events will happen.
Hope affects the efficiency of workers as well.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah.
Because every building, every industrial building has an efficiency scale. And the better, like the warmer your citizens are and the more hope they have, the more efficient they are at their job.
The way the heat level works, it's a percentage chance for workers in that building to get frostbite, basically.
Yeah, but they can also just regularly get sick. Not frostbite sick, just normal sick.
It considers frostbite a severe sickness, but I mean, if they're working in the cold, they're getting like hypothermia and frostbite and shit.
The problem is, of course, you can't heat everything perfectly, so you have to strike a balance with your resources, with your coal, to see if you can keep enough heat going to keep the important workplaces warmed up while, some suckers are just going to have to eat shit and freeze.
Just like in our modern society, just replace everybody with a robot. That's the answer to this question.
Honestly, that's the best strategy in all the scenarios, is just get rush automatons and get steam cores.
Because they can be out in the cold, whatever. At the core is a good idea. I think the city builder survival aspect of it works very well, but content-wise, it feels more like a demo.
There's two aspects, right? You have your city building mechanics and then your survival mechanics. And on the city building side, I have absolutely zero complaints about this game. It is perfectly done. If you're making a city builder, you have to hit certain beats for population management, and it hits all the beats. Having enough workplaces, having roles for all the workers, managing their living conditions, all that stuff is handled really well. What I don't like is the survival side, because You guys mentioned it already. The cold mechanic is really well developed, but that's the only well developed survival mechanic.
There's a bit of issues. Like Punch said, what annoys me the most is like when the citizens are like, I want our homes heated, but I want to upgrade your houses because it's gonna be easier to heat them. So you click like upgrade house, and then the game's like, oh, challenge failed, because when you upgrade their house, you don't actually upgrade it. You just destroy the first one and then build on top of it.
Yeah, that one pisses me off.
Yeah, so you instantly fail the challenge. I had that as well.
I've had that multiple times. Yeah, it's annoying.
A lot of those events have like an initial learning curve because of how the game works, and it's kind of dumb. And what gets worse is as you play the game more, you learn how to blatantly game those things. Like if you're playing on the harder, if you're playing on harder difficulties, you're just gonna let all your dudes sit in the cold until they bitch about it, because building those houses, taking that challenge, is gonna give you a massive hope boost when you complete it.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah, once you've played through like the first campaign, which is really the core of the game, there's a much more aside from that. You're basically an expert at it. That's what I mean by it feels like a demo. I feel like they could have gone a lot further with it.
I played a bit on because I finished the game literally in one sitting. I just sat for 8 hours and just completed all 3 challenges. But I recorded some video on playing hard. It's almost like another game. It's frustrating, but kind of good,
Yeah, on the harder difficulties, all the numbers get bumped up, and it's kind of a snowball effect. I wish the difficulties had better scaling.
You do have a lot of scaling with the difficulty, don't you?
A better scaling, because if you bump it up to hard, and it's like a massive jump.
Yeah, the curve really goes up sharp from regular mode to survival mode.
Another thing is I really feel like the game could have benefited from like random playthrough effects. Like this playthrough, you have a modifier that makes it like 5 degrees colder, or the food's a little bit harder to get. Things like that. That would have gone a long way.
I would have liked more other random events. You have, of course, the citizen events, but those aren't really random. But I mean more like, oh no, a storm is coming right now and it'll last all night. Or, there's a flood.
It can't really be a flood if it's minus 40, to be fair.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
All the scenarios they feel heavily scripted.
No, it could be, hot water geyser or something, something environmental that isn't just temperature going up and down over a course of days.
Yeah, there's a volcano nearby, and temperature's gonna go up now, but it's gonna blow a bunch of soot into the air, so it's gonna get real colder later.
Yeah, just random environmental challenges that pop up.
Everything seems scripted.
The 3 scenarios that they give you, which really only amount to like 10 hours of gameplay, are just very heavily scripted, and that kind of goes against the grain in a bad way for city building and survival games.
Cities excel. That was my complaint there as well at launch, that there were no random world effects. So it was like, okay, you build a city, and 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 that's it. Like here, at least you have the survival aspect to pave it over. You need stuff like fires and tornadoes and shit like that. You need environmental shit thrown into the mix so it's not a predictable route.
And it being so heavily scripted is exactly that. I just know what to do. Okay, I'm playing the ARC missions. Okay, I need to get the beacon as soon as possible. Then just start exploring, and then find the factory. Start producing mechs.
Yeah, it's very formulaic.
That's another thing. Even though the tech tree is really interesting, and I like how many options you get, only a couple of them are massively effective, and you just have to go for them. You have to rush beacon because scouts are so effective.
I really enjoy exploration, and that's kind of shitty because you already know what's where. That's kind of like goes on top of the problem of like it being scripted.
Yeah, that ruins the replayability. Like they could have had the stuff around you be random for exploration.
I did a couple of playthroughs, and it seems like sometimes a few of the locations can get swapped around, but other than that, it's completely static.
I guess, but if you're playing for the first time, it could just fuck you.
That's
Well,
that's
you
the
don't
nature
have
of
to-
survival
You don't have
games.
to make it on the first time, do you?
It gives more replay value. I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Because if it's a survival game, shouldn't there be a decent chance of not surviving?
It's true.
Another important aspect is, of course, the laws, which I actually really like in this game. I really like the law system,
Oh, the law system is great.
especially on the first playthrough. I don't like it much on the subsequent playthroughs. The subsequent campaigns don't have multiple options, which I find disappointing.
Limiting,
But
yeah. I do. Same.
The main campaign, the rule book is a good mechanic, first of all, because it teaches you how to strike a balance in survival really quickly, Like, oh, you can feed more people with soup, but their hope will fall. That kind of thing.
And it's also really interesting because it's just like an extension of the tech tree, but it's all free.
The way the system works choosing between adaptation, which is just the general laws, and then there's
Adaptation versus order or faith.
yeah, you start with the adaptation, which is like general laws, like, hey, do we want to, amputate people for a chance at saving their life, but they won't be able to work until we discover prosthetics? Or, hey, shall we make soup to save on food resources? Do we let children work? Do we let children work in dangerous places?
It gets really uncappy almost instantly.
And then down the line, you get the option to choose between order or faith as additional branches. And faith has you can basically start a cult over time, and the measures, the laws you can introduce down the tree get more and more extreme. And it ends with you being like the absolute ruler of all that is truth.
The God Emperor, pretty much, yeah.
You're basically the Pope, but on crack.
If you restrain yourself, there's a 20% chance you just won't get the achievement for it anyways.
That was my first playthrough. I was playing on the first map, I was playing the religious leader. And then we got into as Punch said, okay, we can make people infinitely happy and discontent can fall really a lot. But we gotta get rid of 20% of the people, though.
Yeah.
It's like, wait,
Or
what?
it's hey, you're having a problem with rowdy people. Want some faith keepers to beat the shit out of them?
Yeah, I did all that, but
Want some religious police, my dude?
yeah,
The order route is also good because the order route turns you into kind of just a fascist dictatorship, basically. It starts with mild stuff.
The order route is hilarious.
It's it starts out with, you have police and posters, asking citizens to conform. And then it turns into, we'll put watchtowers everywhere to keep an eye on the workers. And if they try to run, we'll shoot them.
yeah, it gets really fascistic really fast.
The watchtowers are great. Yeah, the great thing about it is how if you just keep going down and taking away liberties from your people, it becomes harder and harder to lose.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should spoil that, but the end crawl is really good too.
Well, I mean, that's generated by what you do.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, at the end of the game, I kind of wish they'd just let you continue playing, but at the end of the game, once you've made it through your campaign, you'll get a little title screen with slides of how you managed it. Oh, they were hungry at first, but then you gave them hope. Maybe you went a bit too far on the religion side, buddy, or maybe you went not far enough on the order,
Yeah, you beat people, you kill them. It's yeah, I guess.
You gave them hope, and then you kill them.
Yeah, you had religious police. You were beating people in the street.
I also think that there should be a bigger punishment on child labor because it's extremely funny, but also really, really, really overpowered.
Have you done the hard labor and then gone into the end of the first scenario?
Yeah, and it's the children are dying in the coal mines.
You sent the children to their deaths in the coal mines.
Listen, I did that, and what do you want from me? You want the children to die, or do you want everybody to die? Okay? You fucking liberals! You think this is easy?
This is an ancap society, buddy. If we need them in the mines, they'll go into the mines, and we won't pay them either.
Think being a dictator is easy? Ask Hitler how easy it is.
Are kids, you ready for your coal mining internship?
But yeah, as far as story crafting on the first playthrough, like crafting your own story, I think the laws play really well into that. I really like that. I think that's really well done. So to sum it up, Peppy, would you refund this?
No, I like it too much. I enjoy the game. I enjoy the mechanics. I enjoy the people dying, of course. So I don't think I would. I like it. It's good.
Zeyami, would you refund it?
I probably would refund it, but since I can't refund it, I'm pretty sure a year from now I'm going to be totally fine with having paid $25 for it.
Me, myself, I did refund it actually, so there you go. Even though I think there's a very good idea behind the game, and running an Ice Age steampunk ancap simulator does have its own unique place.
If you liked the review, like, comment, subscribe, share on Reddit, retweet on Twitter, and tell Ted Cruz that he's the Zodiac Killer.
No, I don't think we're a limited liability company, so you can't sue us, Ted Cruz. Well, my daughter's first words in the coal mines were "I love butter."